wife go on SNL to laugh at the divorce and Kanye's behavior, finishing off the show by kissing Pete Davidson. And that is when Kanye's life would
That happened? She made fun of the divorce?
When I divorced him, you have to know it came down to just one thing. His personality.
Yo, we have the tragic tale of Kanye West. Graduation is mid. You're tripping.
century was a person, it would be Kanye West. Egotistical, narcissistic, materialistic, miserable, and politically and spiritually atomized are just some of the parallels. But no one can take away from Kanye his genius talent. He has thrust hip-hop into becoming the lifeblood of millennials and Zoomers. Through a mix of impeccable beats and auto-tuned hymns, Kanye has elevated a generation's soul. And it's through this music and his clothing lines that Kanye has amassed over $2 billion, allowing Kanye to form connections with some of the world's most influential people. All of this while being imbued by religious faith. The expectations following a life of international praise, billions of dollars, and an array of powerful connections might have been one of fulfillment, meaning, and happiness. However, the reality for Kanye has been a completely different picture. Kanye has been labelled mentally deranged, his family is broken in front of the world, he's lost access to his children, shunned by the legacy media, and humiliated.
Do y'all think like everything Kanye does is like on purpose? Like, are you guys one of those people that think, oh, Kanye, oh, he's smart for doing this or doing this? I feel like Kanye's like loyal fan base. They believe that everything Kanye does, he meant it. It's not on purpose, bro. And yeah, he's just like, he needs help. People love to like compliment his geniusness because he made great music. Like, no, bro, he needs help.
By the Hollywood elite. On the surface, he has it all, but Kanye has very little left on the inside, and ironically, the very attributes that made him successful were instrumental in his downfall. But to understand how Kanye became such a tragic paradox of the society that made him, we need to look at the whole picture. From the start, Kanye wasn't destined to be a rapper. In fact, Kanye began his adult life as a painter studying at Chicago State University. However,
Nah, I'm glad this nigga stick to music. I'm glad he stuck to music because what is that top left creature? I'm sorry, bro. Kanye, don't ever paint again.
At Chicago State University. However, he soon enough realized that his true passion was in music. He'd always dipped his toes into the musical world, but he didn't have anything to show for it. So at the age of 20, Kanye dropped out of college to fully devote himself to his dream, spending all day at his telemarketing job and working until 4 AM pursuing his dream of working in the rap world. And eventually all this hard work paid off, and within a year, Kanye had secured one of his first big contracts, selling a beat to Chicago rapper Gravity for $8,000. Soon enough, Kanye was making a name for himself as a producer, working with artists like Nas and Eminem. And then 4 years later in 2000, Kanye was signed as a producer by Rockefeller Records. This brought him into direct contact with Jay-Z, who he'd become to partner with over the coming years. But at Rockefeller, Kanye was also working on hit songs for Alicia Keys and Ludacris among others. But this wasn't fulfilling enough. Kanye couldn't express his true thoughts. Kanye's true aspirations was to also become a rapper. However, this was a risky move. It would mean sacrificing his cushy beatmaking job and
Kanye said he never like gave his like best beats to rappers. He was saving all that shit for himself.
Potentially some of the partnerships he'd gained from it. And then just before releasing the album, Kanye was hit by a traumatic car crash. Although instead of letting this set him back, Kanye channeled this frustration into inspiration for his album, writing his song Through the Wire after his jaw was wired shut after the accident. And eventually, after all the strife, Kanye released his first album to massive critical acclaim, earning 2 Grammy nominations for his first album. It was at this point that Kanye's breakthrough was assured, later releasing his second album to even greater success. Critics would praise Kanye's meaningful lyrics and crisp production. Since then, Kanye has, with few exceptions, found success in nearly all of his endeavors. As an artist, he's enjoyed the adoration of millions with his unique style, and as a businessman, Kanye has become one of the richest musicians on the planet, owning much of his success to his keen sense of the fashion world. And while Kanye's egotistical and outspoken personality often landed him in hot water, his aggressive creativity has been a much stronger catalyst for his fame and fortune. His swollen ego, confidence, and artistic talent makes his music stand out from the rest, because unlike most mainstream rap, Kanye's music serves to elevate one's energy, while on the other hand, most mainstream rap serves as the background music behind gang violence and stabbings, casting kids adrift in the hopeless malaise of fried chicken shops and stained alleyways. But with Kanye's music, it feels like you're drinking an espresso, motivating you to follow your destiny.
I'm just the espresso. I'm just a shot in the morning to get you going.
And for most of Kanye's career, it's this mix of his huge ego, unrelenting narcissism, and uplifting music that rose him to the top. But while his popularity was hitting an all-time high, for Kanye, it would be around the same time that his popularity would go from a blessing to a curse. In this time, Kanye's outlandish behavior rocketed his fame and granted Kanye access into the upper echelons of the celebrity hierarchy. And what better reward for his exorbitant wealth, grand ego, and relentless narcissism than a wife called Kim Kardashian, one of the world's most vacuous, plastic, empty figurines.
Oh wow. Damn, hold on, bro was getting on her ass. Did y'all saw? Look what he said.
Kardashian, one of the world's most vacuous, plastic, empty figurines. A woman who represents nothing but a gaping vacuum of feckless vacuity. So from
yo, this commentator has some shit against Kim. Like, what the nigga said? Empty plastic. Like, relax. I mean, he's not. You know, he's not lying, but you ain't gotta say it like that. Isn't she? No.
2011 onwards, Kim and Kanye fell in love, and in 2013 their first child, Northwest, was born. Everything was perfect. Or so it seemed, because behind this golden facade were facts that couldn't be ignored. The heavy weight of such a fake and hollow life.
Damn, she kinda thick. But bro, I feel like, who do y'all think cheated more, like Kanye or Kim? Like, who do y'all think like slept with more people and cheated during the relationship? For some reason, I think it's Kim, bro. Even though that nigga Kanye, like, even I wouldn't put it past him. I just feel like Kim. I feel like what happened was like Kanye, he was acting crazy and just started doing a lot of shit. And then Kim just started cheating because he's such a weirdo. You get me?
Lifestyle was taking a toll on Kanye. Now this isn't unusual. There actually seems to be a consistent pattern of celebrities breaking away from the celebrity bubble. Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, Morrissey, and Jim Carrey. But none received so much vicious pushback from the establishment as Kanye West. This all started when Kanye...
You know, I want to say, oh, maybe because Kanye's just black, but nah, the shit he's been saying, bro. Nah, it didn't matter what color you are. At that point, bro, you are far from gone.
Began voicing his political and social concerns. In multiple interviews, Kanye would describe his frustrations with the victim mentality being instilled in black Americans, claiming that this victimhood mentality is what keeps black people docile and easily controlled by groups like Black Lives Matter.
Racism is a dated concept. It's not an actual thing that even means anything. You know, it's something that was used to hold people back in the past, but now there's been so many leaps and breaking of the rules that it's like, it's played out like, you know, like a...
Yeah, bro, racism is played out, man. You could reject me because I'm black. You know, racism is an outdated concept. It must be something else. Resenting other cultures and ethnicities, making fun of Asian people for things they can't control. Such a dated concept.
Style.
There was a theory where they divorced because he cheated on her with Jeff. Nah, for some reason I do remember that. I think I do.
The rules that it's like, it's played out like, you know, like a style from the, you know, 1800s or something.
The controversy around these statements would only continue to burgeon, especially when Kanye posted a selfie wearing a Make America Great Again hat, saying, quote, "My MAGA hat is signed." He would then go on to say things like how Obama was in office for 8 years and yet Chicago never changed, continually attacking the establishment Democrats. So of course, the Washington Post declared Kanye an alt-right darling.
Wait, what happened?
Make America Great Again hat, saying, quote, "My MAGA hat is signed." He would then go on to say things like how Obama was in office for 8 years and yet Chicago
that
never
was
changed,
crazy, I ain't gonna lie.
continually attacking the
Kanye is not
going
to win
So of
2024.
course, the Washington Post declared Kanye an alt-right darling, with BuzzFeed claiming that Kanye was becoming radicalized, and CNN adding that Kanye needed to be cancelled. It was clear that Kanye was now the next big target for the mob.
These sorts of ridiculous things that are usually...
Here's what I realized about Kanye, right? Like, you feel me? Like, here's the thing with the realm of politics. With politics is like, you try to say certain shit to get one side to like you, right? So let's say you say blah blah blah, all cops are good or whatever. Then you're trying to get to that Republican side of things, right? But the thing with Kanye, he's taking shots at everybody. I don't know who, like which side he's expecting him to vote for him, but nobody agrees with you. You get me? And it's like, I don't know, he's crazy, bro. He's actually insane.
Usually promoted by white nationalists, by fringe groups, by fringe individuals, mostly on the internet, that promote racist ideas.
But what scared the establishment the most was that Kanye wasn't alone, with other rappers like Chance the Rapper defending Kanye, claiming black people don't have to be Democrats. But even more importantly, with his huge influence over the hearts and minds of millions, Kanye's rhetoric was breaking down the narratives perpetuated by the government and media. His counter-narratives to the dominant cultural institutions on the topics of abortion, black-on-black violence, and the support of Trump brought Kanye heated pushback, eventually culminating in Kanye getting suspended from Twitter and ridiculed by the media, Hollywood, the entertainment industry, and the music industry.
Y'all been lied to. Radio radio lying to you that can't play what they want to play because they've been paid to play that bullshit over and over and over.
Soon enough, the cultural institutions and celebrities that praised Kanye's ego and success were now his biggest enemies. And after Kanye released a statement to TMZ claiming that slavery is a choice, Kanye's life would begin to take a very dark turn. It was after this statement that Kanye was forcibly taken into a mental hospital in 2016 where he would be stuffed with pills.
And they medicated me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like if I was genuinely down and sad, I personally just wouldn't take pills. I would either just see a therapist. But with pills, I feel like you're gonna be so used to taking them and having them as a relief for your pain rather than just like, I feel like going through it to the point where you're like gonna be addicted. So I just wouldn't do that.
For saying that, for having that opinion and saying it out loud.
After making too many statements that didn't fit into the cultural narrative, they would use Kanye's forced hospitalization to make him look crazy, to make sure that no one took him seriously.
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies.
So Kanye was now drugged up, pilloried by the media, and stuck in a vicious lifestyle of showbiz and entertainment. By being confined and boxed into this lifestyle of medication, vacuous celebritism, narcissism, and mockery for his Christian political views, Kanye's genius was now decimated.
The medication fucked with your creativity, it fucked with all kinds of things.
Or it blocked my ability to channel what God wanted me to do.
The pills, the hospitalization, the toxic celebrity lifestyle made Kanye a shell of who he really was. The ingredients to his initial success had been turned against him by the high society he'd been so desperate to enter. This grayed Kanye's personality, tranquilizing and sedating him into a passive numbness. But luckily for Kanye, these actions would only serve to catalyze his impassioned beliefs, becoming even more involved in the political sphere. With nothing to lose, he would go out of his way to meet and discuss social issues with Trump in the White House, all to the outrage of blue check marks and giant media companies like CNN.
What I saw was a minstrel show today. Him in front of all of these white people, mostly white people, embarrassing himself and embarrassing Americans, but mostly African Americans.
Kanye took coke. Kanye's drug of choice are cocaine and booze, Hennessy specifically. Damn. Now, if he's taking crack, that's actually insane.
And now all of a sudden, he is the person who represents the African American community?
Yes, nigga. No, I'm just playing.
This was an he is the person who represents the African American community? He doesn't. This was an embarrassment. Kanye's mother is rolling over in her grave.
Kanye was now risking.
No. One thing bro, that is such a low blow. I hate when interviewers do that. Whenever you see someone doing bad, you don't mention up their deceased mother or like parents talking about, oh, they would be disappointed. You know how disrespectful that is? Especially like to someone that's like grieving over the loss of someone and you're telling them, oh, if they were alive, they would have been disappointed. Like, come on, like, that's such a low blow. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to defend Kanye. What he says is crazy, but like, let his mother like rest.
Everything. His family, his career, his connections and influence. But still, he would put down all his chips for his most ambitious project yet, becoming the President of the United States. Quote, "We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God."
Kanye is not becoming president. If Kanye becomes president, that's gonna be the... Nah, but then again, niggas was saying Trump wasn't gonna be president. Hella people were saying Trump wasn't gonna be president. If Kanye becomes president, that's gonna be insane.
Unifying our vision and building our future. I am running for President of the United States. #2020 Vision. Kanye would then later claim that his true calling in life was to be the leader of the free world.
I believe that my calling is to be the leader of the free world.
While public figures like Elon Musk rushed to his support, his presidential campaign was only seen as a meme at best and a delusional ego trip by most, with his presidential campaign being met with suspicion for just being a marketing ploy for his upcoming Donda album. And there was some credence to this. I mean, his whole campaign contained very little substance, with no organizing or concentrated promotion.
Yeah,
in fact,
the thing is, I'm hearing a lot about like Kanye 2024, like at least with him promoting it. He does some shit, but he never really like talks about like the shit he would implement and shit. And when he does, it's usually goofy.
Even missed the filing deadline to appear on the ballot as an independent candidate in the last 6 states. With these political plans and presidential objectives being widely mocked for being an incoherent, wishy-washy dream.
I mean, you will be the commander-in-chief of the greatest army the world has ever known. If you're in that position and we have to deal with some sort of a military action with China, what if China takes over Taiwan? What if they invade Taiwan? What if something happens with Syria? What if something happens with Iran? What if something happens with Russia?
He gonna give them graduation mixtapes.
and you have to make decisions about military action. Have you thought about this?
It was clear that
I feel like, here's the thing with Kanye. I feel like he likes the thought of things more, just doing it rather than the actual things that come with it. No, really, just imagine Kanye sitting at the table and he has to do tasks.
this was far from a serious presidential run, evidenced by his lack of clarity, disorganization, and chaotic rallies. I mean, his very first presidential rally resulted in him breaking down in tears about the potential abortion of his child. With all this disorganization, muddled political objectives, and chaotic presidential rallies, Kanye's chances of winning were slim to say the least. The only thing that could save his campaign was support from the socialites surrounding him, but most like Oprah and his wife would be quick to tell him to stop his political campaign. And those on the left, who initially supported Kanye's denouncement of George Bush in 2005, would now be using the same arguments against him.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Kanye's big gamble was now turning into a disaster. With his swollen ego being surrounded by...
How did Kim K stay with them for a long time? I feel like children was definitely like one of the big factors, and the fact that he has money. But I always wondered, why do rich people date like rich people that are kind of ugly? Like, no offense, why'd I see Beyonce with Jay-Z? Have you seen how Jay-Z looks, bro? Like, come on, bro. Like, Beyonce, she fine, you feel me? And then I came to the conclusion, bro, rich people are gonna date other rich people. They're not gonna be used for money because, look, I have money. Like, that's not a problem.
And hollow reality stars, Kanye seemed to genuinely believe he would impact politics. And while his views might seem universally popular, he had no alliance from the right or left. His connections to Trump and megachurch preachers like Joel Osteen alienated him from the left, and his racial politics and vocal support of men like Malcolm X alienated Kanye from the right. All of which resulting in an embarrassing 60,000 votes.
That if you're gonna be like, the sad reality of trying to be a president nowadays is that you're either gonna have to please the left or the right. That's why there's no like other parties on the rise, because you have to either be from the left or the right. You're gonna have to choose one or the other. And if you're gonna be moderate, at least try the best to sound that way. Like act that way. I mean, not sound.
Out of 160 million votes, or in other words 0.0375% of the vote, most of which were entirely joke votes.
Appreciate the
follow. This embarrassing outcome was one of the first major blows to Kanye's ego, but it would only get worse from there, because in the same time as Kanye's failing presidential campaign was his failing marriage. The first sign of this was during Kanye's unsuccessful presidential campaign, when Kanye would release personal information about Kim and their family. West then tweeted and deleted a series of statements about how Kim was...
If I get locked up like Mandela, y'all know. Comparing yourself to Mandela is crazy. On God, she is capped. Kim tried to bring a doctor to lock me up. Kim tried to bring a doctor to lock me up with a doctor. Damn. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I feel like Kim was just trying to look out for his best interest, to be honest.
Was trying to, quote, lock him up, and how she wants a divorce. And then by 2021, it was revealed that Kim had begun filing for divorce. And this wasn't just any old divorce. This was a whole beast of its own, trapping Kanye into an isolating box that would drive anyone else insane.
That's definitely one of the reasons why he's acting crazy. The divorce has to be.
Now, as I already mentioned, Kanye had become increasingly more religious and political as he grew into fatherhood. And it was this breakaway from the hollow fake entertainment industry that inevitably caused a breakaway from his family. A family known to be one of the most plastic, vacuous families in the upper echelons of high society. But
I love this commentator. Bro's roasting the shit out of them.
It was only once he had his children did he realize how trapped he really was, resulting in Kanye often taking to social media to discuss how he feels like the Kardashians are actively trying to brainwash him with medication, conform him to turn down his black heritage for marketing purposes, with Kim's mum threatening to cut him out of the family entirely if he did not silence his often controversial views. So it should be no surprise that once the divorce was initiated, Kanye felt the full wrath of the media, his family, and the entertainment bubble against him. Kanye was now spiritually, politically, and socially atomized. He was now pilloried as a crazy radical right-wing stalker. Kanye has often said in recent interviews that this is an intentional smear campaign by the family, with him even naming Kim's publicist as leaking specific quotes to the press to fan the flames. Kanye would then see his wife go on SNL to laugh at the divorce and Kanye's behavior, finishing off the show by kissing Pete Davidson. And that is when Kanye's life would turn.
That happened? She made fun of the divorce?
When I divorced him, you have to know it came down to just one thing. His personality.
Turned completely upside down. You see, Kanye had everything. He had all the fame and fortune he could have dreamed of. The only things he now didn't have was his wife and children. In the following months, Kanye would be barred from visiting his children's birthday parties, having to go through a screen of Kim's security before
that
giving
was
some
crazy.
highs to his children. And while
He couldn't
Kanye was
even
stopped from
visit
seeing
his
his children by
child's
Kim's
birthday.
security, Pete Davidson would now be playing with his own kids. And then to make things worse, Kanye's child
Look,
Noah
yo, chat. Was Kanye tripping for pressing like Pete Davidson and like? I don't think he was, cause I don't know if y'all know, but I think Pete Davidson has like a tattoo of like a grown man like smashing I don't want to get TOS, but like just know it rhymes with mild. A grown man smashing a mild. It was weird. It was weird, bro.
create a TikTok account and go live on the app to millions. Kanye immediately requested his children stay off social media, but this request was never taken seriously. In fact, Kim actually made North a TikTok account and helped her post on it every day. In response, Kanye would come out with multiple angry social media posts claiming that, quote, "World, what do I do? I've asked her as a father a million times to keep North off social media. She agrees and then helps her do it? The media says I'm the bad guy, please help me." And then in response to this ongoing feud, Pete Davidson would text Kanye about
I ain't gonna lie, that would hurt me.
being in bed with his wife and calling Kanye a little internet bitch boy. And ever since,
I don't care if me and a girl end up on the worst terms ever. If your new man takes a picture of in the bed with you, bro, I would be nah. I see why Kanye is why he is now.
Kanye has been on a downward spiral, propelled not only by his opinions, fame, family, and ego, but also by the establishment he was so desperate to enter. The media that catalyzed his fame now relishes his demise. Kanye's gotten his life to a position where he could succeed at anything. A billionaire, world-famous rapper with an elite clothing line and an array of powerful connections. He'd achieved nearly everything he wanted, but it was through gaining these achievements he started to realize how toxic the celebrity lifestyle truly was. He understood how isolating the me-first ethos of the elite is, and by understanding how poisonous the ideologies and belief systems propagated by the dominant culture were, Kanye was trapped into a corner. He could either sell his creativity and soul, bloating himself with pills and letting his children and mind rot under the light of a warped celebrity culture, or he could turn his back on the system that made him famous and successful. And by bravely choosing the latter, Kanye is now single, detached from his children, and shunned by those around him, currently residing in a mega mansion all to himself. In his own words, "I lost my spouse. I'm the only billionaire sleeping on the couch." If any story could
Not
serve
anymore.
as a warning to the destructive
Not
cultural
anymore.
mindsets burped out by our postmodern society, it would be the story of Kanye West.
I think what really messed up Kanye is the culmination of everything. His mom unfortunately passed, his divorce, and just being in media and trying to do everything and shit. If you guys are coming from YouTube, make sure you guys join the Twitch streams and join the Discord link in the description. And until next time, peace.